Hello again. So glad you joined me once again. A lot is going on. It seems our little Hobbit friend took a little excursion of his own and passed along the Arkenstone to Dane and the Elven King. And it sounds like Gandalf has made an appearance back. I'm very excited to hear what happens next. I hope you'll join me. We're on chapter 17, titled The Clouds Burst. Next day, the trumpets rang early in the camp. Soon a single runner was seen hurrying along the narrow path. At a distance he stood and hailed them, asking whether Thorin would now listen to another embassy, since new tidings had come to hand and matters were changed.
"That will be Dane," said Thorin when he heard. "They will have got wind of his coming. I thought that would alter their mood. Bid them come in few numbers and weaponless, and I will hear them," he called to the messenger. About midday, the banners of the forest and the lake were seen to be borne forth again. A company of 20 was approaching. At the beginning of the narrow way, they laid aside sword and spear and came towards the gate. Wondering, the dwarves saw that among them were both Bard and the Elven King, before whom an old man, wrapped in cloak and hood, bore a strong casket of iron-bound wood. "Hail, Thorin," said Bard. "Are you still of the same mind?" "My mind does not change with the rising and setting of a few suns," answered Thorin. "Did you come to ask me idle questions? Still the elf host has not departed as I bade. Till then, you come in vain to bargain with me. Is there nothing for which you would yield any of your gold? Nothing that you or your friends have to offer." "What of the Arkenstone of Thrain?" said he. And at that same moment, the old man opened the casket and held aloft the jewel. The light leapt from his hand, bright and white in the morning. Then Thorin was stricken dumb with amazement and confusion, and no one spoke for a long while. Thorin at length broke the silence with his voice, and his voice was thick with wrath. "The stone was my father's and is mine," he said. "Why should I purchase my own?" But wonder overcame him, and he added, "But how came you to buy the heirloom of my house, if there is need to ask such a question of thieves?" "We are not thieves," Bard answered. "Your own we will give back in return for our own." "How came you by it?" shouted Thorin in gathering rage. "I gave it to them," squeaked Bilbo, who was peering over the wall by now in a dreadful fright. You, cried Thorin, turning upon him and grasping him with both his hands. "You miserable hobbit, you undersized burglar," he shouted at a loss for words. He shook poor Bilbo like a rabbit. "By the beard of Durin, I wish I had Gandalf here. Curse him for his choice of you. May his beard wither. As for you, I will throw you to the rocks," he cried and lifted Bilbo in his arms. "Stay! Your wish is granted," said a voice. The old man with the casket threw aside his hood and cloak. "Here is Gandalf, and none too soon, it seems. If you don't like my burglar, please don't damage him. Put him down. Listen first to what he has to say." "You all seem to be in the same league," said Thorin, dropping Bilbo on top of the wall. "Never again will I have dealings with any wizard or his friends. What have you to say, you descendant of rats?" Dear me, said Bilbo. "I am sure this is all very uncomfortable. You may remember saying that I might choose my own 14th share. Perhaps I took it too literally. I have been told dwarves are sometimes politer in words than in deeds. The time was, all the same, when you seemed to think I had been of some service. Descendant of rats, indeed. Is this all the service of you and your family that I was promised, Thorin? Take it that I have disposed of my share as I wished, and let it go at that." "I will," said Thorin grimly, "and I will let you go at that. And may we never meet again." Then he turned and spoke over the wall. "I am betrayed," he said. "I was rightly guessed that I could not forbear to redeem the Arkenstone, the treasure of my house. For it, I will give 1/14 share of the hoard in silver and gold, setting aside the gems, but that shall be accounted the promised share of this traitor. And with that reward he shall depart. And you can divide it as you will. He will get little enough, I doubt not. Take him if you wish him to live, and no friendship of mine goes with him. Get down now to your friends, he said to Bilbo, or I will throw you down. What about the gold and the silver? That shall follow after, as can be arranged, said he. Get down. Until then, we keep the stone, cried Bard. You are not making a very splendid figure as king under the mountain, said Gandalf, but things may change yet. They may indeed, said Thorin, and already so strong was his bewilderment of the treasure upon him that he was pondering whether, by the help of Dane, he might not recapture the Arkenstone and withhold the share of the reward. And so Bilbo was swung down from the wall, and departed with nothing for all his trouble except the armor which Thorin had already given him. More than one of the dwarves in their hearts felt shame and pity at his going. Farewell, he cried to them. We may meet again as friends. Be off, called Thorin. You have mail upon you, which was made by my folk, and is too good for you. It cannot be pierced by arrows. But if you do not hasten, I shall sting your miserable feet, so be swift. Not so hasty, said Bard. We will give you until tomorrow. At noon we will return, and see if you have brought from the hoard the portion that is to be set against the stone. If that is done without deceit, then we will depart, and the elf hosts will go back to the forest. In the meanwhile, farewell. And with that, they went back to camp. But Thorin sent messengers by Roak, telling Dane of what had passed and bidding him to come with wary speed. And I believe we are at a stopping point. It doesn't seem that Thorin handled it very well, but it sounds like the Hobbit has finally found a way to break the impasse and maybe get everybody back settled down. Got to give a lot of credit to Bilbo for staking his whole share of the hoard to try and find peace for the people around him. Well, that finishes our day today. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Until then, have a beautiful day.